I've got some new Goonies 2 information here that just blew my mind. I looked up Goonies 2, and they're making a fucking sequel to the Goonies movie.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Is Chunk in it still?
I don't know, but the fucking, what's his name better be in, one of the Coreys? Both of the Coreys better be in this.
Knowing their career, they are.
Anyway, okay, go ahead and do your news. I got an update. It's Corey Feldman is in it, but not him.
Yay!
Wow.
Make sure to keep updating us throughout the show.
That's all I got. That's all the news.
Edmund's on Goonies watch.
As is it, we have everyone on Goonies watch, at least one person per podcast.
I'm just happy that the game is now current.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Elder-Speak, the official podcast of ElderGeek.com. You're listening to issue number 38. With me as always, I've got Gavin from the news, and as special guests, I've got Edmund and Tommy from Team Meat, who are building Super Meat Boy. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna get right into the news before we get sidetracked on awesome stuff like Goonies news and everything like that. So Gavin, please, let's get going.
Absolutely. Okay. First up in the news today, we have the reveal of a mystery announcement between Capcom and Microsoft. Earlier this week, they revealed that they will have a mysterious announcement towards today, actually, that concerns an exclusive premiere title for the Xbox 360. We have had that revealed today, and it is actually Monster Hunter Frontier, the popular Japanese online system that's managed to get good online capabilities out of the PSP, will now be coming to the 360 and PC. Which should be pretty sweet. I mean, it's a huge franchise in Japan. It sells tremendously well in Japan, which will give Microsoft a huge leg up in that region. They've never been particularly lucrative in that region. And it looks like it's going to be hitting us too. We don't have necessarily a release date, but people can start pre-ordering starting late February. So we should be getting more info on that on February 1st.
I don't think any of us are Monster Hunter players here.
I don't think so either, but it's happening. So it's in the news. It's Monster Hunter.
Is it like it's not downloadable, is it?
No, I don't believe so. It looks like just a disc-based MMO, but you still play it. Yeah. Monster Hunter, yes. In this game, you hunt monsters.
Ah!
Yes. Just to clear up, I mean, there's been a lot of confusion surrounding the title, but yes, in Monster Hunter, you hunt monsters. But I believe we're embarrassingly short on information in terms of anyone that plays it on the podcast, but it's happening. So now you're informed, and actually go to our site because someone that knows more about it than I am is actually writing it. So you'll get all the necessary details from them. We're going to move on, and we're actually going to move on to an NPD study. One of our financial trackers extraordinaire have revealed that despite the under 14 set being a still lucrative market, gaming and video game playing in general is actually the fourth most popular children's entertainment, which means it's basically last. It's below watching TV, which is the most popular, movies, and listening to music.
That's blasphemy.
For what's the age group?
2 to 14.
Oh, come on.
2 to 14 in the MPD group, yes.
Yeah,
Towards the younger side, I can believe that. Towards the older side, you need to start gaming a bit more, kiddies. But now, let's break down the numbers a little bit more here. We have 71% for PC, 77% for console, so we got pretty even spread there. Only 48% of them own handhelds, which is pretty surprising considering how many people I see with DSs and how young they usually are. And only 24% regularly download games for their mobile phones. And actually, out of everything, out of all of the ownership capabilities of most games, only 14% of them downloaded games on PC. The rest they purchased on disc. And on console, only 2%.
What's wrong with kids
games
these days?
They're just behind the times, which is odd considering that
which is another reason why we've been talking about like ratings and stuff like that when it comes to downloadable content. Which I think that ratings on downloadable games are almost pointless. Like you could have an M rating and it wouldn't matter because nobody's nobody under 18 is basically, or 16 has a credit card and is going and buying games online.
Yeah.
Sure, that could be the major divide between these numbers. That makes sense. But this study also, is cross-referenced to another study by the Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation.
Woo!
Sounds delightful.
Henry J.
Absolutely. This was brought to us by the Los Angeles Times, and they say that despite being a less than lucrative genre comparatively for gaming, this market does spend at least almost 8 hours a day on entertainment. This is across the board, not just games. But that is an hour and 17 minutes more than last year, and it's about 53 hours a week, which is more than most full-time jobs. So, I mean, this is a pretty active market, even though they're not particularly active in our field. But yeah, any other thoughts on this, baby? On this puppy? This MPD report puppy? Anybody?
No.
No, we're pretty good.
That's
Kids
something.
these days.
Yeah, that's something.
Kids are stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we can end on that now. I think we can end on that note. Let's move on to something that would get us pumped up with fury. ElderGeek.com's most disappointing game and worst game of last year may just be getting a sequel. Tony Hawk Ride 2 has been hinted at, I guess we can say, in a Twitter from Tony Hawk himself. Said that he is meeting with Robomodo, which sounds like a Powerpuff Girls villain. But that is the developer that put in work on the first game, and if he's meeting with them, that's likely the next project there will be continuing on. So
And
I think
that's the one with the board, right? Where you
that is
stand
the
Yeah,
one with the
that's the one.
board. Yes.
Nobody bought that game.
No, nobody did.
That's
Nobody.
because everyone panned it, and actually, Tony Hawk came out and defended it stupidly, but still. But yeah, Randy, I mean, you got something to say on this. Tony Hawk Ride 2. Are you first day pre-order? Right? Standing in the rain 4 hours beforehand, midnight release.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, you know me, man. I can't get enough of my Tony. I can't get enough of my plastic peripherals. You know, hey, my wife was totally cool enough for us to have like a Rock Band set because we use it. But I think she would probably laugh at me if she saw me riding a skateboard. Probably.
And from what I know of you, I would probably be laughing with her. But Edmund,
It's funny how delayed the mainstream is when it comes to like a popular game came out and then they think, oh, it has to be the peripheral thing. That's the reason why. It's not because Rock Band is fun. It's because it's got a peripheral. Let's start doing that. And then they're fucking 2 years late. And then DJ Hero and crap skateboard game come out and nobody cares.
Yep.
Yeah. We are getting a bit, we are reaching the oversaturated point with peripheral-based games in general. We've passed it by far last year with music rhythm games. So hopefully peripheral-based games will be seeing a decrease over time. But
I think they did. I think this year they saw like almost like a 50% sales drop in like Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff like that.
Remember, Randy, that would be last year. We're in the future now. We've only had about 3 weeks in this current year.
All right. Well said.
Just to let everyone know, our special guest, Randy operates 3 months in the past.
All the time.
It's a
It's tax
neurological
reasons.
disorder. It's actually rather humorous most times, but yeah,
Tax-
3
it's-
months behind.
It's tax reasons. It's so I don't have to pay my quarterlies. Or wait.
Nice. Well done, sir. Well done. Let's move on again here. We have fan favorite director Peter Jackson giving us an interview here from Ain't It Cool News. And he actually said that, paraphrasing him, of course, he's enjoying more games than films these days. He said they're using a lot of filmic techniques, a lot of more cinematic cutscenes, a lot of more different angle changes, a more sophisticated presentation. And he's saying that it's very cool. And let's see, he's also, of course, pursuing games based on his current licenses, which include The Hobbit, directed by Guillermo del Toro, and the Tintin movie that he's been working on based on the, I believe, German or Belgian comic strip of the same name, of the detective, Tintin,
Oh.
which was an awesome show.
Not Rin Tin Tin?
No, not Rin Tintin. Tintin.
Okay.
But yeah, so Peter Jackson liking more more games than films. I'm for that. I'm happy with that. We all pretty good.
Pretty good.
Just gripping dialogue this episode. I mean, it's just non-stop wit.
It's been a slow news week. I'm more excited about I'm totally excited about the second half of the show.
That's dedication there, Randy.
Yeah, I am.
I'm happy to see this.
I
really think
for these guys.
I really hope more directors actually get into the games like Peter Jackson has. It could mean a lot of better peripheral proliferation. I swear I can speak English between the two mediums. I mean, yeah. Hopefully Tarantino gets in on it soon and we get a proper Kill Bill game, which would be awesome.
Didn't he write the Reservoir Dogs game?
I do not recall.
I think it's probably best to let the filmmakers stick to filmmaking.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that they come and make games, but I'm certain they could give. We can have more creative consultants on games based on their licenses, even if it's, especially if it's not things like made in conjunction with the movie release. I want more people like Vin Diesel, basically, because Vin Diesel founded his own studio. He consults, but he's not developing, and because of that, we got Chronicles of Riddick. I mean, there's some good that can be had up here, but let's move on again. I'm going to actually skip another news item because it's exactly like the one I just said, and that just doesn't seem to be getting a lot of info. So to avoid boring our audience to the point of tears, we're going to move on. But I'll glance over it just for you guys. Neil Blomkamp, director of District 9, said a game would be awesome. So, yay.
Yeah, a game would be awesome.
That movie was good.
That movie was good? Oh, wow. I'm getting responses. It's amazing.
Hey, you know what movie was good and there was an awesome video game that was a sequel for it?
What? Tell me.
Goonies. Goonies 2.
I'm going to blow your mind and tell you that no longer is that a sequel to a movie, yet it is finally they're making Goonies 2.
That's like a 30-year prediction from an NES game.
I know, isn't that crazy? But you know what I found out? Chunk is not in the movie.
Ah! Is it a Goonies movie?
It's not a Goonies game. No, it's not a Goonies movie. No Chunk, no Goonies.
They still got Feldman though, so.
All right,
well,
it's a happy
Goonies. Yeah, how hard is it to get Corey Feldman? I mean, honestly, really. Okay. I think we're going to move on again. We're going to keep in the movie vein.
Michael Jackson died, guys. Michael Jackson died.
No. Was he in the Goonies?
The heart.
Was he in the Goonies? I don't remember him in the Goonies.
He did music for Sonic 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
there's a Moonwalker game or something.
The Moonwalker arcade game was badass.
Oh god, it was so cool. You could
Moonwalker on console, not so much.
Robo Jackson.
Yeah, and you could shoot like the double lasers out of his hands.
Oh man, that was so awesome.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson can do that in real life. Just every time he tried, it just came out in really weird ways.
He can do it now anyway.
Shot lasers at naked boys. Anyways. Anyways.
Once again, you're listening to Elder-Speak, the official podcast of Elder-Geek.com. Send all complaints and grievances to Randy at ElderGeek.com. But we're moving on. We're going to move to more movies since that seems to get more responses out of our guest and our host. Mass Effect, actually, we were talking about this again before the podcast, just like we were talking about the Goonies, is going to extend beyond a trilogy. Surprise, surprise. Same like God of War was doing last week. And it's actually drawing a lot of Hollywood interest. I mean, the original game before, probably around the point that it was on Fox News and getting all that controversy, got a lot of interest in some Hollywood producers. And now, since the sequel's coming out, the interest has been greater than ever. And BioWare has just mentioned that it's not too eager to rush into a project. They want to make sure it's good. They want to make sure it's done right. So rock on to them. And yeah, Greg YASENCHAK, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but co-founder of BioWare, recently said on a...
Does he have my last name?
No, not YASENCHAK. YASENCHAK. I have no idea. Yeah. He was on Kotaku's podcast, and he said, yes, we're going to be doing more than Mass Effect 3.
Oh, okay. Cool. I mean, Mass Effect is... It's basically a movie anyway, where you get to create your own sexy hero and, you know, and play out your...
That's the game with the sex scenes.
That's
right. On Fox News.
That's right.
Like, they're all graphic and everything.
Yeah, we got to...
They aren't.
Do that.
They aren't.
You got to protect the kids from the alien boobs. I mean, God knows.
Triangle.
It was
triangle looks like a nipple. Nobody cares.
Believe me, I went through that sex scene dozens of times. Nothing. Pretty softcore.
You've gone through it dozens of times. You were like, wait a second. I gotta see that again.
Yeah. Gotta fact check Fox News, especially with my video games. Yeah. But Mass Effect 2, multiple possible sex scenes. So you know what I'm going to be doing.
Do they have the multiple angle deal? Can you control the camera?
I would prefer to be controlling the character, actually, but beyond that, we're moving on.
What about multiple characters? Like, is it just one-on-one? Or is it
virtual menage a trois?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't played the game yet. I haven't gotten to it.
Okay.
It's a space game, so they're like tentacles.
Yeah. Zero gravity.
How much is Mass Effect? Aren't they're like $60 games?
Yeah, $60.
Dude, for like $5 you could get full penetration online.
For free, you could get full
That's true, actually. That is true, for free. And real girls, though.
Yeah,
Dudes.
And you can get anything. I know. I've seen it.
Probably get a couple hookers for cheaper than actually buying Mass Effect.
Dude, for $60.
Or best of both worlds, you can get 2 hookers over, and all 3 of you can play Mass Effect.
There you go.
Yep.
There it is.
Controls, there we go. Perfect night.
Birthday.
Yeah. Force feedback is way better on the hookers, too.
I have no idea what's happened to the podcast.
I don't know. I don't know.
One more news on it before we can get to the interview.
Yes.
I know Randy's just chomping on the bit here, but it's one that both Randy and I can appreciate.
Okay.
Again, we return to Best Off Injunction and trial against Interplay, the original owners and operators under the Fallout license. This is for Fallout 3 and the continued use of the product for a possible MMO project, possible sequels. But that is not the concern for today. We actually got a pretty solid leak of the Elder Scrolls MMO project. It's been going on since 2007. We have an over 100-plus team working on it, and on a 4-year development cycle. So that would probably put the release date sometime next year. And this is confirmed in the what's the word it's called? Just court filings, I suppose. Again, revealed by the Duck and Cover, who has been our fan site extraordinaire for the entire issue since it started a couple months ago. So yeah, Elder Scrolls MMO, it's happening. It's going on.
When that actually finally launches, I'll probably lose my job and Elder Geek will crash and burn.
Yeah, but as the site crumbles, we'll just leave our Elder Scrolls MMO information so you can just add our characters. That'll be the only thing left on Elder Geek.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, that it for the news?
I guess so. I think.
Great.
I don't know anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Edmund, do you have any Goonies news that you want to fill us in on, bud?
I don't know. No. Nope.
No Goonies updates?
No, I didn't watch the teaser trailer yet, so I don't really have more information.
Lacking.
All right, we'll take a real quick break then, and we'll be right back with the interview with the guys from Team Meat.
The Shinra Guard is close behind Cloud and the rest of the gang as they stole vehicles from the Shinra headquarters. They are in close pursuit, and they are where I am in the truck. Cloud is defending the truck by swinging his sword wildly at the villains pursuing us. Cloud is almost at his limit break. It's going to go in less than a couple minutes. I'm lost in the motherfucking desert. The golden saucer is a source of economic explosion in a world decimated by greed. There is fire everywhere. Oh my God, there's a man walking through the fire.
Embedded reporters within Final Fantasy VII, only on 8bitx.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back from the break. Again, with me, I've got Tommy and Edmund from Team Meat, who are developing Super Meat Boy. Thanks again, guys, for being on the show. I'll just dive right into the questions because I know you're just chomping at the bit, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of work to get back to. Tell us everything that you can right now in the next 60 seconds about Super Meat Boy.
59, 58, 57.
It's a go Edmund.
Okay. Super Meat Boy is video game, a platformer. Yep.
Awesome. Well, anyway, Super Meat Boy, you guys did it from it's kind of, how do I want to say it? It was Nintendo? Did they approach you to take the Flash-based Meat Boy game to take it to WiiWare, or was this it?
It was. I don't know if you saw, but I did probably about like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I did a video where I had met with Reggie at GDC, and basically I talked to him about the possibility of taking my stuff to WiiWare because it was around the time where they were announcing it, and he said, yeah, no, if you're serious, just contact me, here's my card, just call me up, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, oh, that's awesome, I have an in. So I call him up, and like, I recorded myself calling him, and I called him like every other day for a couple weeks, and he just wasn't there, or he was in a meeting, or so on and so forth, and posted the video online, and then shortly after that, I got contacted by the head of WiiWare development, who asked if I was really serious about getting on WiiWare, and I said yes. And that was around the time where I had released a game called Ether, which was a game that made it into Indiecade last year. And that was the first game I thought, it'd be cool to bring to WiiWare because it uses like a cursor and everything else like that. But again, I didn't really have anybody that I knew that could program for console, and didn't really have any money. And shortly after that, I released Meat Boy with John, and it started doing really well. And I thought, hey, this would be probably the smartest thing to do. It was around the time where I started working with Tommy on a game called Gray Matter, and we worked on that for a while. And I asked him, hey, you wanna do a console game? And I know he had previously done console work before, and he was probably the best programmer that I'd ever worked with. And he's like, yep. And that was basically it. And we just started working on Meat Boy. And in order to get the money, we basically we released a map pack for Meat Boy in the Flash version.
Yeah.
And we got enough sponsorship money to kind of go in on a kit, and that was basically what funded development. And then we started, and we've been in development for about a year.
That's awesome. Now, Tommy, you worked on Goo. Goo was your game before.
Yeah.
Now, how did you and Edmund get into this mix?
Well, right around the time that Goo got into the IGF, I was looking through, or it was actually right before Goo got into the IGF, but I was looking at like past winners and everything, and I saw Gish was on there, and I saw Edmund, and I remembered Edmund a long time ago, back when he and I both had websites that were affiliated with Newgrounds back in 2000. And so I IM'd him, or I emailed him or something. We started talking back and forth about that. And then I met him at GDC very, very briefly. And then, then we started making the Gray Matter game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Both of you have mentioned specific platforms that your games have received on, though. I mean, Edmund's mentioned Indiecade, and Tommy mentioned IGF, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And just for those of our listeners that aren't familiar with it, could you take us through them and let us know what the platforms exactly are and how you got on them?
They're like okay, well, the IGF is the Independent Games Festival, which is a gathering of like the top video games of the year, basically, that are submitted, and they're judged by a bunch of judges, and then they take the top, I think it's between 15 and 20 games, and they're put in different categories, and then they're showcased at GEC, which is the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And you get to show it there for 3 days, and then they're up for a bunch of different awards. And this year, Super Meat Boy is up for the grand prize as well as audio.
Awesome.
And Indiecade is, thank you, is a similar festival. It's a lot smaller. They have it in LA, and it's more geared towards kind of art games, more experimental type games, and that's been around for a while. And it usually kind of goes all over. They usually showcase it like E3 and stuff like that. But this is the first year that they actually had a little showcase where it was kind of like an art, little art booths or whatever, like galleries where you can go and play the games and stuff like that. And Ether got into that one. But yeah, the IGF's been around for a while, and like Tommy mentioned, in 2005, my game that I worked on called Gish was up for the grand prize, and we had won that year. But,
Gish was an awesome game, or is an awesome game.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you actually kind of touched on the answer to this one, so be prepared to maybe re-answer it. On a scale of 1 to Heather Graham, exactly how sexy is Super Meat Boy going to be?
Can we readjust the scale?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Honestly, Heather Graham is very, very hot. But she's not as hot as she used to be, you see.
Well said.
So could we go from, Let's see. Who's really hot? I like
Randy YASENCHAK. From 1 to Randy YASENCHAK. How sexy is it?
No.
From that. It's only like halfway. Very, very, very sexy. The game.
So this is the kind of game that you want to bust out on a first date and be like, hey baby, Super Meat Boy.
You don't even get to the date. You get straight into bed with Super Meat Boy. All right. There's no courting period. You see it, you love it, you must have it. That's what it's all about.
There instantly rape charges will be filed against you before you buy the game.
Yeah, because it's so new. As soon as you play it, it's statutory. As soon as you play it.
Awesome. That's perfect. That's perfectly answered. And see, I played Meat Boy, and I suck at it. Despite being like a gamer of the 80s. How much harder is Super Meat Boy going to be from Meat Boy, or is it pretty much the same level of difficulty?
Well, first, I think we need to make sure that everybody knows that Super Meat Boy really isn't at all Meat Boy.
Okay.
It doesn't play the same. It doesn't feel the same. It's Meat Boy. We took the character game. We took the basic idea of a few elements of the Flash game. But in reality, like, Meat Boy, the Flash version, was very difficult, but mostly because the controls were pretty funky.
Yeah.
Again, like, this was John's first game. We'd made it in a few weeks. It was a prototype. It was just a basic idea to see what we could do. A vertical platformer, basically. And Super Meat Boy is something that we've been working on for a while. It's very fine-tuned. The controls are really, really, really tight. If you make a mistake, you won't feel like you've been cheated out of it. It's if you die, that it's your fault. Like, it's not bad controls. It's not bad design. And we put a lot of work and a lot of thought into it, as far as trying to make it a difficult game that has a lot of reward to it, but also not something that will just destroy every single person that plays it. There's a lot of ways we went about this. One of the best ways is that there's 2 tracks, kind of, there's the normal mode, and then there's like an expert mode, and the expert in the dark world, and that's unlocked as you play, depending on how well you play. So when you start the game off, the learning curve is fairly smooth. It does get, pretty hard, but the levels are set up in a way where you don't get as frustrated as you'd think. It's hard to explain until you actually play it, but it's just I guess you could say the psychology of the game is set up in a way that doesn't defeat you.
Yeah.
It's the carrot's always within sight. And the replay is so instant. Like, when you die, you're instantly in the game again. It doesn't feel like as much as like you've died and been set back.
Yeah.
As that you just are going to get to play it again and again. And of course we have a reward for that as well, where if you do die a bunch in the level and you complete it, Tommy made this thing where you can see all your replays at once, and it shows like 40 Meat Boys on the screen jumping around everywhere, and it's pretty awesome.
I love that. I've watched I watched all of them that I could find, and those, I'm actually looking forward to that probably most about the entire game.
It's pretty damn awesome. Like,
it's Asshole Mario. Do you guys know Asshole Mario?
I know.
It's the impossible to play Mario mod, so then they just have all the Marios dying in tune, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Which is an awesome feature which every game should have. So you guys are really innovating here. I want you guys to attach some sort of trademark or copyright, because this is going to be huge.
Yeah, call it like Konami Video or something.
When I was in London for this WiiWare DSi thing, they had a Konami guy there, and he said he was going to steal it from us. And I said, no, you're not, because your games will take forever to get out, and ours is going to be out for 4 years.
But yeah, basically so you've got the main game, which is going to be difficult, but not in a way that you don't want to play the game and you're pissed off at the game.
Good, that's great.
And there's also, for the really hardcore platformer players out there, there's going to be a parallel, like I mentioned, a dark world that parallels the main game that kind of throws very difficult versions of the levels at you that are completely remixed and redone and re-envisioned. That's extremely difficult. So if you're up for the challenge, you're gonna love Meat Boy, and if you're up for a really big challenge with a huge reward, then there's gonna be a whole other game that's basically unlocked as you play, which adds shitloads of replay value, and not to mention there's tons of buried characters that you'll have to beat a lot of levels in order to unlock, and it's a nice reward as well.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask next. It's already been kind of announced that Alien Hominid is going to be in it, Tim from Braid is going to be in it, and Commander Video from BitTip is going to be in it as well. Is there anybody else?
We announced Fly Wrench a few days ago.
Oh, right, Fly Wrench too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Tommy just popped him in the other day, and he's a bit overpowered right now, but he's pretty friggin' awesome. Every character plays totally differently and has their own abilities. And it's one of those things where, like, for me, it's such a treat where I've already made like 100 and something levels, and playing through those levels, right now still hasn't gotten old, surprisingly.
That's great.
Because I'm always trying to shave off a few seconds and here and there. And me and Tommy are always competing as far as, of course, he always winning. But, it's always cool introducing a new character and then having 100 new levels to play that now play completely differently. Like adding Fly Wrench, he has the ability to fly. Basically, he gets 5 small jumps, so he flaps, and he's really bad on the walls. Like he basically has no ability to wall jump, so he has to land on the wall and then flap 5 times to kind of gain some altitude, then flop back over to the wall and then jump off again and fly around again. So he basically gets 5 flaps between running out of juice and he has to land in order to recharge. And it totally plays completely differently than Meat Boy. And of course, there's some levels that are actually harder with him because of the lack of wall jump ability. But then there's also levels that are way easy because of his ability to kind of maneuver around in the air. Like he has complete air control. And then Commander Video is another character that has a lot of air control too because he floats like Princess Peach style.
Cool.
So he can kind of control in the air really well. And all the characters are going to play differently and give you more reasons to kind of go through and try to shave off a few more seconds here and there on levels, or just try to get into some hard to reach places where there's extra warp zones and stuff like that.
That's excellent. Now, right now the game's scheduled for WiiWare and PC as well. I think you can pre-order it on Steam, or at least Steam is going to have it. Are you guys thinking about putting it over on PlayStation Network or Xbox Live Arcade or anything, or iPhone or anything?
I'm going to ignore iPhone because I'm going to say something. It's going to upset some people.
Go ahead.
But it needs to be said. iPhone is not a gaming platform. Yes, there are games on the iPhone, but that doesn't mean it's a gaming platform. Give me buttons. Give me 2 buttons. No buttons, no game. That's it. But yeah.
So I take it you're not a big fan of Project Natal either.
Well, but you see, you can have Natal with like a controller also. You're not totally reliant on Natal. That being said, there will never be a version of Meat Boy that only controls with Natal because you can't, imagine the nightmare. Like precision jumping and like still looking at the screen. So it's like the Power Pad days, but if like the Power Pad.
God.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible. Like,
we're not about taking the game and being like, that was one of the things we got asked a lot too when we were on, at least in the early few interviews that we did. The question was always, how are you going to use the Wiimote or the Wii remote in an innovative way with Meat Boy? Like, are you going to use motion controls? How are you going to use them? And no, we're not going to fucking use motion controls because that has nothing to do with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And neither does the iPhone. Like,
it's just hats off to you two, sir.
What?
I said hats off to you, sir. That's awesome. There's no reason to make just waggle stuff on it. Oh, and now I'm going to make him do the meat shake.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. It's not what we're doing. Like, what you get from it is you get to play it like an NES. Like, you get to play it like it was on the NES. Beautiful. You turn the controller sideways and you go nuts, That's all you need. We're not tacking things on for gimmicks. This is a very straightforward, really thought out platformer that pays homage to all the old platformers that we've ever played, and it's basically, the game that me and Tommy would have made if we had the ability to do so when we were very young. It's like, I want to make a game that would make the 13-year-old Edmund fucking go fanboy crazy at school about, and just constantly talk up. Like, we talked about the idea of like way back in the day when Mortal Kombat came out, when Mortal Monday, I believe it was.
Yes, Mortal Monday. Yep.
Okay. At school, I was the fucking biggest Nintendo fanboy ever, right? And even though there was no, and I'm also a huge, fan of course, Now the lack of blood in the Nintendo version was of course a horrible thing for me to have to deal with, but I defended that Super Nintendo version to the fucking very end. I would get in huge arguments over that and just say, no, it's the ideal version. And still to this day, I'll tell you that it was, because I still believe that it controlled better and looked better. And Raiden's fatality was just way better.
Yeah, it was.
I want to make a game that would make me like that again when I was that age, and Meat Boy would definitely be that game. It sums up every little aspect of all the cliche platforming stuff from the early 90s, as well as a lot of just kind of early 90s weird themes, like back when MTV was showing bizarre animated, like Liquid Television and all that sort of weird shit. It just embodies a lot of that. Garbage Pail Kids, late 80s, all that stuff, the stuff that I grew up with, and Tommy grew up at the same time as well, and so we both are kind of on the same page with the vibe, and that's basically what's going on in Meat Boy. It's totally uncensored. We get to do whatever we want, and we're just going to deal with the rating as it goes, and we're just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, have you guys gotten a rating yet for it?
We have a projected rating of T.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be for the final.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of weird loopholes, like the fact that Dr. Fetus has 3 fingers and a thumb means that when he flips you off, it's not technically his middle finger. So
nice.
Well done.
And Meat Boy is made of meat, so that's why he leaves blood everywhere. So it's not like there's blood because of just horrible violence. Like, in a lot of ways, Meat Boy is like SpongeBob, where SpongeBob could get cut up in that cartoon all the time and get reassembled and he's fine. And that's basically what Meat Boy is as well. And the blood is just the juice that comes off of him because he's made of meat. So, in that respect, it's, there's, but you never know. I mean, the stuff that they were throwing in is always, it's very Ren and Stimpy-esque in terms of being somewhat questionable if taken a certain way. I don't know what the ratings boards are going to say, but whatever, like we mentioned earlier, I don't think the rating will affect sales or affect who plays it in the end, because it's downloadable. Yeah. You're going to have a credit card either way to play it.
True. I, by the way, I hope that it doesn't get rated into the point where you guys have to edit it to, just to be playable on the Wii or anything like that. But I honestly about pissed myself when I watched the video for the first time of, I guess it's your intro movie. And, it's Meat Boy and Bandage Girl are bouncing kind of up and down, and Dr. Fetus is bouncing up and down like the intro to Street Fighter 2. And then,
Street Fighter 2 intro.
And then Dr. Fetus jacks Bandage Girl in the face. Love that. Love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's in the game. That's the intro for the Forest chapter. And, I mean, right now, the brief conversations that we've had with Nintendo about this sort of stuff is, you do what you guys do, and we'll deal with it as it goes. I don't believe that they will censor us. I would much rather just take an M than have to cut anything down, because I think it's just going to hurt the game.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to get an M. I think it's going to get a T, because to put us in the same league as a game like Mad World or something,
or Manhunt or any of those games,
where you chainsaw somebody in half. It's like, this is not in any way the same sort of violence. I mean, there's basically no violence in Meat Boy other than the little cartoonish, Dr. Fetus hitting Bandage Girl. The rest is Meat Boy explodes. Okay, he respawns before the blood hits the ground or whatever. That's it. It's there's no violent act there. There is no act of aggression. There's no conflict that resorts to violence or anything. It's just, it's the same as Mega Man. I mean, Mega Man gets shot with shit and he blows up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Now, I can't get the word Dr. Fetus. It just cracks me up.
By the way, after the show, I'm buying a Dr. Fetus t-shirt.
We have character dolls. I would love to have a Dr. Fetus kind of doll or a.
Oh, you're gonna love this then. I don't know if you guys saw. I gotta send you some of it. We did. Have you seen the comic that we did?
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, so the first comic at the very end, there's a little cube craft Meat Boy that you can cut out and put together. And in the new comic that I just finished up, the guy from what is it? It's QBcraft.com. I want to get his name so I can
So you can pimp it properly?
Say it on here. Looks like he's just going by CB. I don't know his full name. But he made a Dr. Fetus. He made a Dr. Fetus QB, and that's going to be in the next comic at the end, and that's going to probably go up online in the next couple days. Probably by the time this is up.
Excellent.
And that's free for everybody to download, and if you buy the comic, it'll be in there on the paper, ready for you. And he'll actually be flipping the bird in the in the little QB form. So that's something that we got there too, and we're trying our best to work on some extras. I'm a huge fan of physical, cool shit, and I try to do as much as I can. Like I used to do comics independently, and that's where the Meat Boy stuff kind of came from, and I hadn't done it in forever, and it's pretty inexpensive to print out the comics, so that's one of the things that we did, and of course you've seen the Dr. Fetus t-shirt on Newgrounds, which I believe is almost sold out. I think they're only like extra large or 2X left.
Damn. No, that's too big for me. Shit.
Yeah, but we will be doing I'll find another way once I figure out how to make some money. Maybe another Dr. Fetus shirt, or we're definitely going to do a Meat Boy shirt before it comes out.
Very cool.
Do you think you can speak more actually about the comic project? I mean, just how you started it and how it's run in tangent to Meat Boy himself and Super Meat Boy?
Oh, yeah. Basically, Tommy had come down, and he comes down every few months, and we work together for a while. And this was back when I had an office, and he was kind of sleeping at the office, and we got invited to go to that event that Tommy mentioned in London. And we didn't really have anything to kind of give out. And me and Tommy talked about, like, you know those rave flyers that people just give out? They're like cardstock rave flyers for paint, whatever else. We talked about doing something like that, doing something kind of funny, and then I thought, I could put like a little comic strip on there, and that might be pretty cute. And that kind of just, me and Tommy just kind of banter back and forth, and it kind of evolved into like, hey, like, what if we just did a comic? Mm-hmm. Like, we could do a comic. Like, nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever made a comic as like an ad for a game, and then I looked up the cost, and it was surprisingly cheap, and the printer was semi-local, so we quickly got together in like 7 days. I threw together a comic.
Wow.
It's like I think it's like a 12-page comic, and we did the cover was like a play off of the first Superman cover, the Action Comics cover.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Because he's lifting the car, going up the
he's smashing the car against the wall or whatever.
Yeah, he is smashing the car. It's like weird. I don't know why.
It is really strange. Having to do parody things like that, it's you start staring at the image that you're parodying, and you're going like, what the fuck is this? Oh, there's nobody in the car. He's fucking smashing it though.
Yeah, and he's like freaking everybody out around him too. You look at it, like, people are running and screaming away from the He's like lost his shit and is like banging this car up against the
fucking car. Yeah, so we threw together the comic, and like I said, I had experience with, so it was pretty fun to revisit. I hadn't done a comic in like 6 years or 7 years, and we just threw it together, and it was, half ad, half entertainment. The comic strips kind of told the story and kind of gave the humor vibe of the game, and also gave some information on the game, and printed it up, and we gave most of them out in London, and then we started sending them out to different magazines and stuff like that. And I actually think a lot of the press that we've gotten, the positive press, has come in response to sending out those comics, and I think it's kind of it was basically an independent approach to advertising. Like, we don't have the money to pay for advertising.
Right.
So I can make a comic. Like, I'm experienced with that. So let's just fucking do that. And that's what we did. And we're almost out of the comics that we had now. There was just a limited run of 1,000 comics. And so for GDC, I wanted to kind of make a new comic. And that's what I just finished up.
Awesome. You actually, you kind of hinted at it. You said the positive press. I was actually going to ask you, like, have you guys been getting like, I don't know, like crazy groups approaching you at all about like, I don't know, Dr. Fetus or any of your past projects, Edmund?
I wish. I wish.
Yeah.
We almost we did an ad. I don't know if you guys saw this. We did this ad called, I don't know, it was like a meat cut, like a bovine chart
Yeah.
So it was like a cow bovine chart all cut up, and in the center it's Meat Boy, right? And then on the top it says like Hitler was a vegetarian, don't be like Hitler. And then it says
Yes.
Meat Boy. So
Thank you.
That was an ad that we put out a while ago, and it was an ad that Nintendo actually asked us to please, can you just take that down and not mention Hitler anymore when it comes to also mentioning WiiWare?
I think their exact words were something like, please refrain from using Hitler on the same ad as the WiiWare logo. Oh, okay.
So that was one of the things, and that was in a lot of ways like I think me and Tommy were talking a lot about like approaching the press in a way that kind of spoke from the game's perspective in terms of what we were doing, the freedom that we had, and whatever else. And in a lot of ways, it was us kind of testing the waters to see what we could and couldn't do when it comes, being, I'm so used to saying whatever I want to say whenever I want to say it because I'm not having to answer to anybody. But what does it mean to be, a developer of Nintendo, and how far can we take things? So that was kind of like a just see what we could and couldn't do. And surprisingly, nobody really. I think people were more upset by the fact that it could be upsetting to somebody.
Yeah, instead of offending them, they're like, oh my god, these guys are really burning their bridge. This is gonna
it seemed to be more like, oh, they're worried that we're gonna offend somebody.
But honestly, though, isn't that basically what America is? It's always about like worrying who you're going to offend and not actually caring if the people that it was intended to offend are offended. So
Where are the outrage soccer moms when you need them?
Yeah. We're like, that being said, we're really, really hoping that we can get PETA to protest the game.
That'd be great.
It would be
awesome.
Because
I don't think they care. I don't think anybody really cares. Like that's the thing too. Like the whole Dr. Fetus thing. There's the whole. That's one of the second most common question I think we usually get, other than, hey, what meat's Meat Boy made out of?
Is he gonna have a brisket, friend?
It's the whole like, it's the whole like, how will you guys get away with Dr. Fetus? And they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but I wasn't even under the impression that a fetus was offensive.
Fetuses are evil, dude. You didn't know that? Babies are evil until they come out.
That's what I'm believing, at least.
Fetuses are related to Hitler.
People are like, aren't people going to be offended by the fetus? And they're like, no, why? Why would they be offended by a fetus? Oh, okay.
It's like people like associate fetuses to abortion, yet they forget that everybody is a fetus at some point. That's like, it's just so stupid.
I think that was a song once. Everybody is a fetus at some point.
If it's not, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's like Neil Young and shit. That'll be pretty awesome.
Hey guys, what was the head and hands, oh my fucking god, I can't believe, I can't get this to work moment in development of Super Meat Boy?
Honestly, we haven't had, I can say I haven't had a moment like that pertaining to development.
You don't want to jinx it though.
Are there any oh my fucking god moments?
There are. But it's something a little, but as far as development, no, there really hasn't been, because it's been like Edmund has said, we're really doing what we want with this game. Like if something does not work, it's not like, oh, we have to do this, it's just like, all right, well, we'll find a way around it, done, and so like there have been, I haven't had any moments where I'm like, oh god, I can't get this to work or anything, because it's just like, I mean, at its core, the game is very easy. Of course, it's like multi-platform and stuff, so I have to, have a bunch of code bases or whatever, but I mean, that's not like a big deal right now. So, I mean, honestly, it's gone so far, knock on wood and everything, it's gone pretty damn smooth.
All right. I feel sorry that I asked the question, because the game hasn't been released yet, and tomorrow you're going to be like, that fucking guy from Elder Geek totally jinxed me.
He fucked us.
Yeah. I had to open his mouth.
The stuff is pretty, like, it's strange to go from totally independent to console, because things do change. Like, when you're making an independent game, usually you just kind of develop as you go. Like it's kind of more like molding. Like like having a big stone and you're whittling away at it to make a statue sort of situation, and you're just refining and refining and refining, and then in the end, the finished product looks really polished and nice. But with a console game, when you're showing to the press and stuff like that, they have, I mean, majority of the press, they have absolutely no creative mind when it comes to just trying to envision how this could be fun or how this could look in the end, and they'll just assume that whatever you show them is the final product.
Yeah.
So when you show them something, it has to look almost like it's finished, which is a weird way to go about things, at least for me. I mean, having to polish up the first chapter to make it look like it's almost finished seems just so bizarre, because I'm so used to fleshing out the game and then kind of going through and then making it look better and better and better. But in a way, it's cool because we do get to spend a lot more time with the game. Like, the first chapter is really smooth. Like, it's been played so many times and we've looked at it so much that it's almost perfect in terms of polish and that sort of stuff too. But it's kind of like a backwards thing of developing for console. But the cool thing, like Tommy mentioned before, is that we kind of get to go through and we don't have like, I guess it's kind of like people assume that we have a design document that we are going by, like a strict guideline. When in reality it's, hey, we kind of have a vague idea of what we want to do. We have these little key points that we think are really cool. We know the mechanics that we want to try, but in reality, we're not going to fucking say, okay, the second boss is going to be just like this. This is going to be his pattern. This is what's going to happen. Because the moment you do that, you lose the kind of like honesty and the heart the game has, and it becomes this really like rigid, almost too thought out process where you're trying to push things into place. And like, we ran into some problems with the first boss where it was like, we kind of had a vague design doc where it's like, we wanted to do this, this, and this. Things just weren't really working that well, and we could see right away that they work better this way. So let's just do it this way. And when you're working with a company and you've got like 20 people that are being like, here's the design doc, why aren't you following it? This is how it works. And you're going down the line, it's forced. And in a lot of ways, you're forced in situations that either aren't fun or just don't work right or don't look right. And it just happens and it's just pushed through. But with this, I think we have so much more freedom when it comes to just relaxing and being like, let's just do what's most fun. Is it going to be more fun in the forest for you to light the squirrels on fire and have them chase the boss? Or is it going to be more fun for you to jump on the boss's head? We can try that out. We don't have to nail it down. And in the end, we went with setting the squirrels on fire.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was actually going to ask about the squirrels because I saw some of those in the gameplay. I was like, those have got to be involved somehow. I wish I could set them on fire.
Well, to be fair, that's what Randy thinks of when he looks at most things. It could be really anything in the world, like a signpost or another human being. Just his thoughts automatically go to
lumens. I wish I could set lumens on fire.
That's kind of how the game. That's how the development is working. It's and I think it's working really, really well this way. And it's definitely not something that you can do if you're a company. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. No, that sounds really good. That sounds excellent. Well, every craftsman has a favorite tool. What's yours?
How philosophical of you, Randy.
Well, I'm serious. Like, since I started doing the site, I think my favorite tool for the website has been my high def recorder, just so we can get high def recorded video footage of video games and stuff. I mean, I could have said my Wacom tablet or Photoshop or some crap like that, but when it boils down to it, that's my favorite little gizmo.
Well, now I don't want to say my Wacom.
You don't want to say your Wacom tablet?
I'm gonna have to say my high definition recorder as well.
I too like my high definition recorder.
I don't know, man. What tool? I don't. I'm gonna say my most valuable tool right now is a fucking stack of printer paper that I have beside me and a pencil. That's where most of the work and most of the thought process comes out, and you could do more. You could do a surprising amount of video game testing on paper, and that's a lot of development for me is on paper in giant piles beside me. So that'd be my most valuable tool thus far. And my Wacom.
All right, I'll stop asking philosophical questions. I've got two more, and then we'll round it out. Let's see, which two do I want to do? What was harder, actually making the level editor, or kind of putting together the all the levels?
I don't know. I've only made like skeleton levels. Edmund's made all the levels. I made the editor though, and the editor
making the levels are easy because the editor is really, really easy to use. So
Yeah.
I'd say right off the bat, Tommy's job of making the editor was a million times harder than me making those levels because it was a breeze.
That's fair.
Nice.
I'll go with that. I'll go with
Nice. All right, that was an easy answer. Darn. All right, and just one final thing before we actually get out of here. I kind of wanted to just change gears real quick. Edmund, about No Quarter. Are we going to be seeing that anytime soon? When can I kill a bunch of Hitler clones?
I don't even know. Okay. Okay. Hey, Tommy, you want to, as my lawyer, will you speak for me here?
Yes, I will. As a matter of fact, as Edmund's lawyer, I need to advise you that No Quarter. He is not able to currently speak on No Quarter as the process in which No Quarter is being developed is not currently being consulted on by Edmund. Ergo,
That was a lawyer word, everybody.
Well done.
Ergo, and concordantly, vis-a-vis, at this time we have no comment.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's not go any further than that, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. Everybody that's out there listening, Super Meat Boy, get it on your PC or Wii. Either way, just get it. It's going to be one of the best platforms, if not the best platform game of 2010.
Of ever.
Let's go forever. Yeah, I'm going
All right.
with of ever.
Ever.
I'm going from ever.
All right, let's do that. Forever. Now, what are you guys still pushing for a Q1 release or a little further back?
Q1's kind of impossible right now because of, we originally started out with 100 plus levels,
Yeah.
and that plus into about 350 plus levels. We kind of want to make it more than expected. We kind of want to blow people's minds,
Nice.
with the amount of content and make it more of like a Mario, a big Mario Land type or world experience. And, So in order to do that, we might have to push things back a bit, but it'll definitely be coming out this year, before Christmas, and for sure.
There you have it. Before Christmas this year, the best platformer game ever.
When it's done!
When it's done, damn it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask that. Is WiiWare breathing down your neck about a release date or anything like that? But I guess not.
No,
That's
I don't
great.
think WiiWare breathes.
We got this service, sir.
They're of course on our side when it comes to, when the product is ready, that we will put it up there and we will support it.
Can we call it a SKU?
But of course they want to.
Yeah, let's call it a SKU.
It's a SKU. Can we call it a SKU? As your attorney, I'd like you to call it a SKU.
Yeah. Either way, anybody who's attending GDC can play it. We will be playing it. It will be playable at the IGF booth at GDC for 3 days. Go nuts.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thanks, guys. If you're listening, be sure to check out both Edmund's and Tommy's pages individually, and also the Super Meat Boy page as well. Again, thanks, guys. And that's it for this week's show.
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're all clear, kid. I love it. Total carnage. Mamma mia!
There will be only chaos.
Chief, can you hear me?